Thank you, Najib. Now we will once again stand in your way between yourselves and the lunch break. With the presentation now, I would like to invite Dr. Jonathan Doerr. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Yeah. Okay, great. He is the co-founder and co-CEO of Daraz. Welcome, Mr. Jonathan.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Kaise hain? Yeah. So I'm the last one between the lunch. That's painful. And so so this is a topic that is very close to my heart. As you know, I think everyone in the room knows Daraz. If not, we're the biggest e-commerce platform in Pakistan and actually South Asia, except India. And of course, digital payment is an important topic for us. And for me personally, it's something that is, thank you, very close to my heart. We worked actually, especially in the last year, very much on that topic to increase digital payments. I will also talk a little bit about why this is actually so important for us. Before I start, I would like to ask, so who has in the room already shopped in his life on Daraz? Please raise your hand. That's quite a lot of people. Who of you has paid with his credit or debit card on Daraz? Okay, I think we have a good portion of people here who use digital payment, but I think it's not really representative to us. And I want to also show you a bit, so my idea is to talk a little bit about what is important for a business model, for an EMI business model, and I want to really show this from a, of course, very practical standpoint of what we see, what are the challenges today in the market, and what does it actually need to establish a successful business model. I want to share with you also some numbers from Daraz so that you also have a little bit of feeling what that all practical actually means, what that means for the customers and what we see, what kind of trends we see on our platform. Yes. Just a little bit about Daraz so that you have a little bit of a view where we stand today. We're growing very, very fast so that everyone in the room is on the same page. So we have now almost 7 million products in over 100 categories on our platform. I remember this very well when I joined Daraz 4 years ago. We were less than 100,000 products. Now we offer 7 million products. 1.5 million are cross-border products. The rest are products that are already in the country and available for our users. I'm pretty sure you're aware that we pushed after the Alibaba acquisition last year, and with new technology that we brought to Daraz, we pushed very much our mobile application because we know mobile is something that is huge, and we have now over 2.5 million Pakistanis on our app every month. So not on the mobile side, not on the desktop, they're actually using our app. So we have way more users, but we actually look only at the app because that's for us the most important thing. And I want to add one additional number actually from its sales perspective. 86% of Daraz sales today are happening on the app, not on the mobile side, not on the desktop, 86% on the app. That's something that is best in the world. That doesn't happen in Europe, that doesn't happen in the US, that even happens not in Southeast Asia. Yeah, it happens in China. But we are really, really on the forefront here when it comes to app payment, app purchases. So very happy about this. It also has to do with the payment. That's why I'm highlighting that. We deliver over 1.5 million packages now every month across Pakistan in all regions. So from Karachi to Gilgit, we deliver your package wherever you are. We have created approximately 50,000 jobs in Pakistan, and every month we're educating around 2,000 sellers. So the 50,000 jobs, of course, we don't have 50,000 employees. We have around 2,000 employees in Daraz. But of course, the sellers, which are almost 20,000 active sellers on our platform, they have employees that help them to actually maintain and manage their online shops on Daraz. And in the next year, so in our Vision 2020, we want to continue our 100% growth year over year. Month over month would be great. So year over year, 100% growth. We want to continue that. We want to reach 200,000 active Daraz sellers educated through our university platform that we have established over the last couple of years. We want to engage 25 million users, monthly users on our Daraz app. And we want to create 1 million jobs in our marketplace ecosystem, from seller over delivery towards payment. So everything that is in our ecosystem, that's what we want to achieve in 2022. And of course, we want a fully digitalized ecosystem, especially with our logistics partner, so for real-time visibility for our customers. That's why we, for example, established Dex, which is our own delivery fleet. We're delivering 65% of our packages ourselves. And that's not why, and the idea or the reason why we deliver 65% of our packages is not that we actually wanted to do that. We're forced to do that because the ecosystem, TCS, LCS, and all these partners, they're not on the level that we need to have them on a digitalization, so that customers actually know where their packages are, so that the delivery success rates are on the level that we want to have them. So we help, and we continue helping these companies. We're also building a marketplace for smaller logistics companies to establish them and help them with delivery. I would like to reduce our own rate actually more and more in the future, to be very clear. And last but not least, and of course very important for today, here we go, is we want to introduce digital payments to around 10 million consumers till 2022. I want to share with you a few numbers of how does it actually look today when it comes to digital payment and Daraz, to just give you a little bit of an overview. Over the last couple of months, we worked a lot on this, as I said, and our GMV, that's our gross merchandise value, so all the products we sold, 35% of this GMV generated on Daraz was paid digitally and not with cash on delivery. That's a rate we're actually quite happy with. Again, 4 years ago, that was around 5%, so we really see a move towards digital payment. But you also can tell, when we look at the orders, it's actually only 20% of the orders that were digitally paid. Why is there a gap? Because people that use debit card, credit cards, they have a higher value than people that pay cash on delivery, and that's why there's a difference. That means 80% of our orders are still paid by cash on delivery, and the challenge that we have with that is very, very simple. When you look at the rejection rate is the rate that when a rider comes to your doorstep and you decide, that's in our policy, we allow that you say, I don't want that package. The rider turns around and he sends the package back. That's a rejection. The customer can do that and he doesn't pay anything for that. The rejection rate for cash on delivery orders is around 12%. And as you can imagine, this costs us money because we bring the package, and maybe that's a fridge that we bring from Lahore to Gilgit and we bring it back. That costs us a lot of money. When we look at prepayment, people that ordered their order on Daraz and paid with a credit card or with a wallet, our rejection rate at the doorstep is way below 2%. And that's one of the main reasons why we're pushing for digital payment, because people always ask me, COD is expensive, or people get robbed or anything. That's actually all not the problems that we have with cash on delivery. The major issue is the bigger we get, the bigger the problems for us in cost when it comes to delivery, because the customer is kind of postponing his decision if he actually wants the product to his doorstep instead of making the decision online. We have 70,000 people, so customers, that use digital payments per month on our platform. And we have around, and that's one topic I would like to talk about, we have 120,000 people now that use our wallet. So Daraz established our own wallet in October last year, but it's a closed loop wallet. It's a wallet that we only have on our platform. You can top it up with your debit card, your credit card. You can top it up with external wallets like EasyPay and JazzCash. But you can use the wallet only to pay on Daraz. And to be very honest, I'm very honest here, we're a little bit surprised by how many people use our wallet. And when you look at the share of people, so when you look at the digital payment, that doesn't really work. So the digital payment, these 35% GMV, if I break that down of what that actually is, it's 56% cards, it's 9% EasyPay and JazzCash, and it's 35% our own wallet. We're very surprised by this number, but I can explain this actually very well, and this brings me to one of the big topics I want to talk about. It's the customer experience. The customer experience that people have with their wallet on our platform is just very simple, because as soon as there's money in the wallet, they check out, they press a button, and it's done. And that's the reason why people love so much the wallet. So they actually put the effort in and top up the wallet before. And we're working with various partners and banks to actually enable various methods to top up our wallet. That's in our interest. And there's one big problem that we have, which I will also talk about in a few seconds. So we see already with these numbers that customer experience is a huge factor. And sometimes also, I want to say, we need to force people a little bit into their luck. And I'm not meaning this in a criminal or illegal way. I'm meaning this pushing them a little bit to test things. And we did one thing, I'm talking very openly about this, when we have cash on delivery orders in the past. And people accept the order, and then they find out something is not right with the product, or they ordered a shirt, it doesn't fit, they want to return this. We have a return policy. You can return your product 7 days for free. And of course, you want your money back. But after you send back your product, and we said, yeah, it's fine, we take it back. So how do we pay back someone that paid with cash on delivery? That was a big challenge for us. So in the past, there was two options. The customer was able to receive a refund voucher that he could use for future purchases, or he was able to actually get the money with a bank transfer. So we asked for his bank details, and then we transferred the money manually back digitally, which we never received digitally. We actually received it by cash on delivery. So when we introduced the wallet, we said, let's try something which might be a bit aggressive, but we see how it goes. And we said, every cash on delivery order that gets a refund, we will not do a bank transfer manually to this customer who never paid us digitally. He paid us with cash. We will also not give him a voucher. There's only one method. We will put the money back into your Daraz wallet. From there, the customer is also able to withdraw the money to his bank account if he wants to, because it's automated, but we actually pushed him into the wallet. And we said, let's do this as a test. Let's be very careful. Let's look at our customer service. Are there massive complaints? And we saw there are no complaints. People didn't complain. They like how simple and easy it was at the end. And we saw that the rate of people that actually withdraw their money to the bank account reduced by 50%. So people kept actually the money in their wallet. So for us, it was, again, a huge surprise, and it's also one of the reasons why this wallet, of course, is so successful, because all the cash and delivery customers that we have, if they have a refund, our our returns are very low, but these people are actually starting to become digital, a little bit at least, and try digital payment. So one of the reasons why our wallet is so successful, and one of the things why we will also establish of what we will do. So I want to be a little bit the devil advocate here, and want to highlight a little bit the challenges, and I want to make it as practical as possible, because that's the things that we as Daraz and other merchants, we are facing in a day-to-day. And I think we're, of course, we're State Bank, we're all the banks that we have here in the room, and of course the digital partners, the merchants, the innovators. We need to work together if we want to make this work. And I really like the presentation that Hendrik did from PwC about the international trends. But I also said already before, I said, we need to fix some basics in this country before we think about very smart and fancy business models. There are some basics that are missing. And I want to highlight them for you. And I really want to encourage, we are in constant conversation with State Bank, of course, with the banks. And I think we all really need to sit together with one link, of course, and really build something to fix the basics. So one of the basics, and I still want to highlight this, is our card situation in Pakistan. We have MasterCard, we have Visa, we have PayPak, we also have Union Pay in Pakistan. And of course, there's also regulation that 3D Secure needs to come, but I want to just highlight today, the reality is that a lot of banks, a lot of cards are still not authorized for online payment. The customer needs to call his bank, he doesn't even know where to call, then he gets the transaction free for 1 hour and then the card is blocked again. That's all nice, but to be very honest, like, we're beyond that in technology. Like, we solved these problems 20 years ago, that you can use a credit card online without getting fraud. And we need to fix that. And I can tell you, we just opened for Union Pay cards. My success rate for Union Pay cards is 1%. 100 people try, 1%, one person succeeds. Because the people, and then we call the people, it's mainly Bank Alphala and HBL, the people don't know where to call, the people don't know where to activate their cards. This is the reality that we're facing. I just want to bring these practical examples here. So We need to make sure that when we issue the cards, that we work on. I know that all the banks are working on this, don't get me wrong, right? I know that 3D Secure will come, but I want to highlight where we stand today, because we talk about the amazing achievements, but we also need to talk about reality a bit. So I'm the person for reality here. So I know 3D Secure, every bank is working on this. We need to make this happen, because the cards will still play a role. It's not that they will disappear very soon. And I believe we need to make sure that we really bring this now to standard. And I just want to highlight this. I know it's very painful for you. I love Pakistan very much, but I also work with Daraz in Bangladesh, and that's already fixed there. We don't have these problems in Bangladesh, just as a little side note. And I know I can do that. And then it's a lot about, and I highlight this also very much, it's not only about that we bring the technology, it's also about education. And here, in every conversation I have with the banks, we need to work together, all of us, to educate our customers, explaining about the risks that they have with the cards, explaining, of course, about the fraud that can happen, because that's a reality. I'm well aware of that, and that's something that we all need to, where we really need to also put money in our hands to establish communication forms and explain people what the risks are on this, in this area. And then there's a topic that I believe is especially important for the EMIs and the wallets and all these business models that we want and that we actually discuss here today. And it's actually a direct debit standard that still doesn't exist in this country. It's a massive issue. And I explain, again, very practically what that actually means. Today, if I would like to make sure that people that have a bank account in this country, and there are still a lot of people, and when we think about my business model about online transaction, it will be my customers are more in the area that are already banked than the non-banking, so that's my focus for now. And if I would like to have, and maybe there's people that don't want to use their card online, and there's enough reasons, and it's okay. Yeah? I still have no possibility in actually integrating properly one method that I can debit this account directly. Things exist in India, they exist, I have examples here from Thailand and Malaysia. These things already exist. There's one standard in the country where all banks agree to. We could, as a merchant, then connect to one standard, and then the customer puts his bank account, whatever bank he's banking with, and I can debit this account. It's a very simple way, and this, I know the banks need to work together. And the problem is we have a very fragmented market and everyone wants to build his own method. I will not integrate 38 banks. I'm sorry, I will not do it. Yeah? And not in 20 years. So you need to work on a standard to make that happen, or you will be out, and then there will be new people coming and they will take the field. Yeah? That's the alternative. The merchants, and to be honest, I have big funds. I could even afford doing this. There is a lot of merchants in this country that cannot afford doing this. And I think that's what we need to work on. And there's one very important thing about this, the standard. It's not only this, the simple bank transfer that I talked about. The more, one of the major reasons for this, and it's actually why, in my opinion, a JazzCash and an EasyPesa and the other wallets still are not as successful as they can be. And I hear sometimes terrible things in this country where I read everyone is welcoming PayPal. We have our own methods. We have our own wallets with great companies. Let's make them work, but let's understand why they not work. And let's not invite PayPal and say, okay, we don't give a damn about about our own solutions. So why are these things not working in the way that they could work? What makes Alipay so successful? Why has Alipay over 700 million active users in China today? Why is you having 50 transactions per day with Alipay in China? Why is PayPal so smooth? It's very simple. Because Alipay and PayPal and all the other payment wallets, I don't need to top up these wallets. I don't need to go to a merchant and give him cash and top it up. I don't need to go to my bank account and make a transfer that the money goes to the wallet. That's inconvenient. No one wants to do that. No one wants to top up wallets and then make a payment. It's very simple, because in these countries there's a standard, and it's the direct debit standard that these wallets are using. That means when I use my Alipay wallet, it's linked to my bank account, and I can use Alipay wherever in the world, and especially, of course, in China, in every store, in every little, like even mom and pop shop, everyone has Alipay. And it's the front end. Alipay is the front end at the end. This is and that's what the same that EasyPesa has, that JazzCash has. They have the QR code scanner. This is at the end. It's the front end that I use to make my transactions. I could do this online, especially I could do this offline. It's actually a topic that is more on the offline side. But I don't need to worry about topping up a wallet. It's linked to my bank account. It's secure. It's a standard that is established. All the regulations are confirmed, and I can use my wallet as an interaction point. So we don't have that standard, and for me, that's one of the major reasons why the wallets are not as successful as they could be. So these were our main points. It's getting more positive at the end. Don't worry. So a few challenges that I just wanted to highlight when you think about, because we also not only have banks here, we have, I'm pretty sure, people here that are interested in going into this market, establishing these business models. I highlighted two things, especially the standardization. Of course, it's a very, and we heard a lot in the presentations before, it's a very capital intensive business model if you want to establish this, especially when we look at the regulations of how much money you need to keep to actually build these customer base. That's something that is not easy for small startups that are mainly the people that have the innovation, that have the tech understanding to build these things. That's of course a conflict and a problem. As I said, we have a very fragmented market. Every bank is working on their super app. Every bank I'm talking with, yeah, we have the super app, we have QR code, and we have top up and travel and everything, and my payment method, and I can do this and this cost, and we sell packages, and every bank tells me the same. It's great. Go on with that, and we will not have the innovation that we should have. Every bank should have their wallets, don't get me wrong, but we also need to fix our basics first. You can build your wallets, and I think your customers will love them, and they will use them, and I think that's what everyone should do. But we need to also establish one standard if we want to bring really this uplift in our country to the next level of people using digital. If there's too many solutions at the end, people will be confused. We don't have the education. They will be not accepted everywhere. Then there's a Master Pass, a HBL Pass, a EasyPay Pass, and a JazzCash Pass. Like, which QR code do I need to scan now? Like, that will end not well, I believe. Of course, everyone needs to prevent also his customer base and needs to work on these things, but I believe very, very much that we also need to work on one standard to make sure that we bring the whole country to the next level when it comes to these payments. And that brings me to the low customer trust and missing education. I also believe that the part of we know that, but I think a part is also that there's so many solutions. And if not everyone is talking the same thing, if everyone just talks about his own solution, then it's not as powerful. It would be way more powerful if we all talk together about the same things when it comes to security. Fraudulent activities, of course, that's a challenge that we face. We can also see this on Daraz very, very much. It starts with vouchers. You cannot imagine how much creativity, and I love this creativity that we have in Pakistan when it comes to frauders. I wish this creativity would go sometimes into other businesses, but especially with the Alibaba technology, we are able of, when you use vouchers, we can identify your smartphone and all these things, like we go beyond IP address and everything. There's still people that find ways to manipulate devices to try to fraud us with 300 rupee vouchers. It's unbelievable, and I wish we would have that creativity sometimes in the sector of building new business models. But of course, that's also a risk. It's of course a big topic. That means every business model that you want to start in this area, we always need to be very cautious. But there's one dangerous direction that we sometimes go when we think about fraud, and that's something that I need to admit. Even in the early days of Daraz, we did this. And that's a very normal reaction, a human reaction. We see my employees, they come to me and say, we have fraud in this area, let's shut down this voucher. Or just to make it a bit more practical, we saw that people, when we sign up as an account, we give new customer vouchers. And then people figured out, okay, I can create 100 million email addresses without any problem, and I am always a new customer on Daraz. So what we did as a first reaction was like, okay, then let's shut down creating an account on Daraz with an email address. You need to now establish your phone number with OTP. Everyone in the room says, yeah, that makes absolute sense, right? No, it doesn't make sense. why do I bring convenience away from a customer who might want to sign up with an email address and not with his phone number? Because there's 1% that take that system of email address and fraud me and take my vouchers for new customers away. And that's the typical reaction that we have in a lot of things. We're building something, there's fraud, and then we're closing it, and we're making it more complicated and more complicated. And at the end, for 1% of the people that fraud us, we build something that no one wants to use because it's complicated, it's not convenient. And this is where we need to think about technology. We need to think about technology ways of solving these issues. And as I said today, we can identify, you can create 100 email addresses on your device. We know you're still the same guy. And then there's people say, oh, let me actually try to trick my device, and I create like a theoretical EMI. We also know this now. We can solve these technical things. It's not always easy. It's a long way. It's the more complicated way than shutting just down email signups. But I think it's the right way. And this was just one example for also a lot of things that we see when it comes to bank transfers and these things where we work with HBL, for example, together, and then we needed to shut it down because there was fraud, and then we have regulations where we need 5 OTPs to confirm a transaction, and we need IVR to confirm. Come on. It's 2019, right? We cannot have an IVR confirmation that I want to make a transaction the first time. Yeah? And that's what I mean, like, we all agree that there's fraud. We all agree that we need to protect our customers, the ones on the banking side, our customers, we need to protect our funds that we give away. But I think we need to sometimes really believe, if we want to bring this to the next level, the customer experience will be key. And then just shutting everything down will not work. There is technology, and it's not that we need to reinvent the wheel here. There is technology in this world that will help us to solve these problems. Let's bring that technology to this country, let's work with this, and let's establish business models and solutions that are nice. Yeah, limited partnerships between merchant banks. I think this is something, when you build a business model in this area, you need to get the banks on board. That's sometimes not so easy. I believe, though, I need to say that especially in the last year, I see a big move in all the banks. I see really a big move towards this digital payments and e-commerce, and the conversations I have today with the bank are very different than 3 years ago, when no one knew who Daraz is and what we actually do and why we do actually e-commerce, and who buys products online without seeing them in person. I think we are beyond that point now, so we have very good conversation when it comes to the online part, with which I'm of course mostly interested, and everyone is willed to do and go in the right direction. I wish it would be sometimes less, that's my direction, in more like, let's do something together. I know that's not always easy, because we all need to sit together and then make together these decisions, and we are competitors, so I'm talking about the banks, but I believe that's the only way to go. Risk and governing, I talked about this, and then customer protection. Of course, we have these regulations that are very important from State Bank to protect our customers. I think this is very, very important that we have them, that these business models are not starting with crazy things. There needs to be regulations for these things. We're very happy to have them also for e-commerce. But let's not over-regulate and destroy our own country when it comes to digital payment, because we over-regulate and we don't have the right solutions. I think that's also very important. So, yeah, this is a little bit the sum up of what I believe is important, and that's my last slide. What is important when we think about EMI business models: product, product, product. This is the #1 rule, and we see this as well on Daraz: easy, safe, and useful. We need to build things that the people really need and that they also love to use. And again, here there are amazing solutions in this market, and I just needed to also think about N26, because we saw one slide. Myself, I'm a happy customer of N26. It's an amazing business model. It's an amazing app. There are amazing things out there. But to be very honest, let's fix the basics first before we go to the amazing stuff. But when you learn about product, this is where you can learn about product. And also what we saw to give some highlights, the change that we see in our business with the new app that we brought, with the new technology. I'm pretty sure when you're Daraz customers, you know about the new features that we constantly launching, and these things are not just to make everyone excited about new things. There's really technology, there's data behind, there is a lot of testing behind to establish things and to see that this helps us and helps our business. Build realistic use cases with state-of-the-art technology, very important. We have great talents in this country. We have great talents when it comes to tech. That doesn't mean we have all the innovation, but the innovation is also there. It's not that you need to reinvent everything. We have great talents, the technology exists, if it exists here or exists outside, and we can bring it in, but we need to use great technology, otherwise we will fall behind, and that's not what we want to do. So the product comes with great technology, and if you're not investing in that, and that's what you need to do, you need to take the money and say, this is what it costs at the end. And sometimes I feel in the industry that we would like to, so online, it's a thing, it comes up now, I need to kind of do it, but I actually make enough money, and why do I need to do it? Yeah, maybe in the future it could hurt me, and then I do it a bit. I think we really need to say, okay, it's an investment, and maybe also some of you for a short period of time will not make money from day one with it, and that is also okay. And we see this ourselves. We're still not a profitable business, and it will take us a few more years to reach that point, and you can be happy that we have such investors that come in and spend all this money, because we're not only establishing our company, we are establishing the whole market when it comes to e-commerce. We are educating everyone on e-commerce, we're helping the ecosystem on payment, we're helping the ecosystem on delivery, and we're educating the customers, and sometimes this costs money. This is a revolution of how people consume products, and there is a revolution going on when it comes to digital payment, or when it comes to the payment, digital payment and the banking industry. And for this, it needs sometimes an investment to then make a lot of money again, to bring it very clearly out here. You need to have a massive reach, and I think this is a big challenge. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges, beside when you have a great product, you have great technology, maybe you have the money, but you need to have the reach for such a business model. And here, again, if you're a startup or if you're a bank, that's something that is, of course, is complicated, and only with partnerships with the telcos, with the banks, you can establish this. And of course, we merchants, we play a big role. I know. And I'm getting the question a lot, when do we open our Daraz wallet? When will we file for open loop wallet? Right now, I have zero interest in doing this because of the two things that I mentioned in the beginning, because I believe a wallet will only succeed with the two things that I mentioned in the beginning. Now I'm black. And that's why there's no interest from our side. But I believe the reach, especially with the merchant, is something very, very important. And we will, of course, always try to bring innovations on board, to integrate them, and to make sure that new business model will also succeed. Because as soon as you're on our platform, you have a reach of 2.5 million people per month. Will we get my presentation back? Or was it the signal for lunch? Like, that was very direct. Thank you for that. No, I just to one. Let me just one sentence. I was at the end. This was also the last slide, to not make more people sweat there in the background. I think this was it. So I think I wanted to give a little bit of an overview of where we stand today from our perspective. The very very tangible things that we're facing today, the problems that I see there as basics we need to solve. I see a lot of good movement in the last couple of months, and I think we need to continue doing this, but I said we need to fix our basics to actually make all this happen, and to actually help especially the newcomers in the market to establish business models that we all want to see and bring this to the next level. But I'm very positive also when I see our numbers are going up from a GMV perspective, digital payment, also our regular GMV of course goes up. That's also very positive. So we're moving in the right direction, but we really need to get our ass up and work together to get that done. I know I'm very direct with these things. A lot of people don't like me when I do this in this direct way, but for me that's the way to get the message out. And I'm very happy to continue all the discussions we have with the banks. We need to work together to bring people into digital. No problem. And yeah, I'm happy to have also conversations afterwards and yeah, continue this. As I said, and that's how I want to close, this topic is very close to my heart because I'm fighting in Pakistan for this payment topic for quite some time. And I see this movement, and I think we can bring this really further. And all the important people are in the room. I also feel that everyone knows in which direction we all want to go, and no one is doubting that this is the direction we want to go, and no one doubts that digital banking and business models in this direction will change the way people consume, and we all want to go away from cash, and then maybe also the finance minister will be happy because he can control a bit more who spends what, and we don't need to establish this in our business model only. But yeah, that was for me. I'm happy to talk with you. If you want to come, I will be here for a few more hours. I'm also very excited for the next panels, and then I will leave you now to the lunch. And yeah, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much. I think it was, yes, thank you very much.